entering the town of Twin Peaks.
There was a fish in the percolator.
A damn fine cup of coffee.
You are witnessing a front three-quarter view of two adults sharing a tender moment.
It is happening again.
Take another look, Sonny. It's going to happen again.
What kind of fantastic trees have you got growing around here?
I'm going to turn it upside down.
Sheriff, we got a lot to talk about.
Sheriff, what the heck?
That's not what I thought you were going to say. What the heck is right. I don't even know what to do with myself after this episode. I've had a few days to process, and I don't think I've gotten any further in that processing.
Well, first of all, let me congratulate you on finishing seasons 1 and season 2, the original run of Twin Peaks. It has been an absolute pleasure and a journey getting through this with you.
I don't know why you're congratulating me on simply watching TV, but thank you.
I think it's a life accomplishment.
I am good at watching
a lot of
things.
people will be very happy that you've seen this.
I've done it.
Yeah, so I'm excited for you. And I guess I'll just ask, as an overall, did you enjoy the journey of season 1 and 2?
I did. Okay. I definitely have a period of time that I preferred, but overall I did like it, and I'm really, really excited for the return.
Fantastic. And we'll talk more a little bit in depth on things you liked later, but let's just talk. We'll get into it. So this is we're covering season 2, episode 22, which is the finale of the show. And for a very long time was the finale of the show, basically up until 2017. We do get Firewalk with Me coming out in a year or two after this, but there was no continuation of the show after this. And it probably could have gone on like this had things not changed, which we'll get into once we start covering the return. Okay. So, but the name of this episode is Beyond Life and Death. It was written by Mark Frost, Harley Peyton, and Robert Engels, with David Lynch also coming in and changing a bunch of the script, but he does not get a credit for it.
Then how do we know he did it?
It's in my fun facts. Don't you worry. There's a lot of documentation on this episode.
I figured.
It was directed by David Lynch as well.
Yeah, that's
This was one of his big ones. It aired on June 10th, 1991, right after the last episode, which is such a funny juxtaposition as the way this whole show has been. And I that's kind of why I wanted to... You understand why I wanted to cover these separate now?
Yes, they're very stylistically different. It would feel really jarring to watch them back to back, I think.
I would say also this episode, the one before this kind of wraps some things up, or at least sets things up to be wrapped up. And then this one gives the audience a middle finger in the best way possible.
I was going to say, after we did the last episodes, I feel like we knocked so many questions off the lingering questions list because there actually was some resolution. And then this episode has zero resolution. And it's a mindfuck, truly.
Very much so. This one aired to 10.4 million, same as the episode before. So, as they're back to back. I want to read through the plot because part of my fun facts are things that David Lynch changed from the original script that he changed. So let me give the whole plot, and then I'll give you facts, and then we'll talk about all of it.
All right, let's do it.
Cool. So, this is the finale, guys. I'm emotional. Now, I'll be really emotional when we finish season 3. But here we go. So Earl takes Annie to a wooded grove where they vanish behind the curtains of the Red Room, or the Black Lodge, we don't really know, or the Waiting Room. Having suffered head trauma during the pandemonium at the contest, Nadine reverts to her true age, upsetting Mike, who has come to genuinely love her. And it's really sad because Norma and Ed are there, and we don't really know what happens. Ben tries to make things right with the Hayward family, but Dr. Hayward attacks him. Andrew and Pete discover that the metallic cube contains a safety deposit key. We talked about that last week. Audrey chains herself to a bank vault to protest Ghostwood, while Andrew and Pete arrive at the bank to unlock the safety deposit box, which detonates a bomb planted by Eckerd. Cooper follows Earl and Annie into the Red Room. In a distorted voice, Sarah tells Major Briggs, "I'm in the Black Lodge with Dale Cooper. I'm waiting for you." Cooper sits in the Red Room with the dwarf and Laura, who says, "I'll see you again in 25 years. Cooper sees various apparitions, including one of Earl, who demands Cooper's soul in exchange for Annie's life. Bob takes Earl's soul instead, and Cooper is chased and caught by his doppelganger. Hours later, Cooper and Annie emerge in the grove. Cooper is taken back to the Great Northern, where he smashes his head against a mirror. As his reflection looks back at him, his reflection is actually Bob, and now he starts mockingly repeating, 'How's Annie? How's Annie? How's Annie?' And the episode cuts to credits." Okay, so that was a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of crazy stuff happened, and a lot of the Twin Peaks lore was built just around this one episode.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
So, just some fun facts about how Lynch changed it. This was a quote from Sabrina Sutherland, who was the production coordinator. She said, "That's the only time David ever really got mad at me on that second season. It was the last episode, which he directed, and he did not like the script that had been written. He came to me and was screaming at me, 'Did the script go out to everybody?' Because my job was distributing the scripts." And I said, "Yes." And he was so upset. So he rewrote it and took out stuff that he didn't like and made new scenes to make it more like his and Mark's original version of Twin Peaks. He was very, very, very upset, screaming at me. And then he was like, "Okay, I know it's not your fault and you thought you were doing the right thing." So that was her quote, because he did not like what they had. So then Harley Peyton, who co-wrote it with Mark Frost and Robert Engels, said, "We originally wrote the finale together. Then word started trickling back that David was going on a David walkabout and making some changes. I reacted with ire and outrage until I saw the episode. Then I was just in awe. Now that doesn't always work, and David sometimes had difficulty with the linear nature of episodic storytelling, but that finale was one of the best hours of TV I've ever seen."
Damn. Okay.
So, there was a lot that he wanted to change because I guess the Red Room scenes weren't enough like the original versions.
Well, that is totally fair then, like continuity-wise, I guess.
So the big changes that I was able to find them talk about was that the Log Lady and Ronette Pulaski did not appear in the original script.
Oh, what the fuck?
I love both those changes. I think the Log Lady needs to be there. And Ronette being like alive and speaking for the first time and then recognizing the motor oil engine, I thought was like a huge revelation.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
I agree.
The original script, Hawk and Major Briggs find Leo Johnson in Wyndham Earle's cabin, and Leo starts talking and then sets off the spider trap. I think getting rid of that's fine because like it doesn't do anything for us.
Yeah, it is interesting that I guess like there is absolutely zero resolution to Leo, and like Briggs is barely in this at all either, and he's been huge.
In the original script, Pete does not accompany Andrew to the bank. Instead, Catherine rushes into the bank just before Andrew accidentally sets off the bomb. So Pete wouldn't have been there, but Catherine would have been.
I might have liked that better.
I also think that's an interesting end to them.
I think she deserved to be blowed up by a bomb compared to Pete, who doesn't deserve it. But I think maybe the fact that it's Pete makes it hurt more.
And the biggest changes were the scenes in the Black Lodge / the Red Room are very different. In the original, that's like a ghostly version of the Great Northern that appears. Wyndham Earle has more dialogue. Apparently, he even has a musical number. There's no...
What the fuck?
Yeah.
No,
I had read that.
No musical numbers, please.
There's no backwards talking. Laura Palmer appears only for an instant, doesn't speak, and it's related to like save Cooper at some point.
Doesn't.
The Black Lodge singer, the man from another place, the giant, and the elderly bellhop, Maddie Ferguson, and Leland Palmer all do not appear.
Oh, wow.
So all of that was very important. So I think Lynch made the right call for all of these people to show.
That's kind of crazy.
They also said it was a little more subtle about Bob taking over Cooper, but when I read up on it, it seemed pretty similar. But they don't really introduce the doppelganger stuff very well, so it'd be hard to know that he was taken over.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's get into some general thoughts. My big one was I just wrote, "What?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to hear as a first time viewer, you were shook when it cut to credits. So like what was going through your head?
Okay, so I knew from other people that this last episode was going to be quite the trip. Everyone that I knew who had watched it like fairly recently was like, I don't even know what the fuck that was. Like, I don't know what my brain's doing. I can't process that. So I kind of knew to expect something weird or different or something. But if I had been watching this show in the 90s, I would be so pissed at how little clarity or answers that we get. And look, I've watched shows that then got canceled and left cliffhangers, and that really bothered and upset me. And there are some shows that I still wish that they at least had, like, advance notice to have 1 or 2 more episodes to wrap up, but
I don't think they would have done it differently.
I don't think they would have done that here, so that's not even like I wish we had that. Like, it just wouldn't have been that way. I think it's also tough because this episode is really surreal, and that's simply not for everyone. I think people really struggle with that. I like it. I'm used to that from David Lynch, and obviously the show has been surreal at points, so, like, you know, you should grow to expect that, but I think you could still enjoy this show and then just not, you know, still, because so much of it is like this mystery soap opera. So if that's like not your thing and you don't get that style of filmmaking, like it just doesn't connect with you, I could see this episode being just like, what the actual fuck did my favorite show just do?
I have so many thoughts because I think when you watch it, I think it's great. I think it's like kind of a masterpiece. However, it also does feel like a middle finger to the audience. Yeah. And I wonder, I'm sure we could maybe read into it a little more. I know there's all kinds of different stories. If this was supposed to be that because they were forced to reveal the killer too early.
Yeah.
And then they got canceled. They said, well, here's my revenge. Yet I'm going to give you a great piece of filmmaking, but also I'm not going to give you anything you want. Mm-hmm. It's kind of genius.
Yeah. What I will say is I'm watching the show in 2026, and I know that the return exists, so I'm not quite that mad at it. Mm-hmm. Because I know I'm getting more, and I think this is a good lead-in to what the return's going to be stylistically, from what I hear, and like what I could hear when you were watching it, the original run-through of yours. So I'm not like mad about it, but I am kind of like.
Could you imagine there are people that probably never watched The Return or never got to?
No, I know.
And there are people that watched the original run and then sat for 25 years until The Return came out.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's amazing.
That's crazy.
It was a huge deal when The Return finally happened.
Yeah.
That's like an even bigger selling point for the show.
Wild.
I love it. I also think it's just funny to wrap up certain threads, like to wrap up the Andrew Packard, Catherine.
The fact that that's one of the threads that they actually thought they had to take time to wrap up is crazy.
And they just blow them up.
Like that being one of the quote wrapped up threads. That and then Nadine's transformation kind of having not even a conclusion, but
there are no
more
happy endings. Nadine comes back, which is bad for everybody.
Yes.
Well, except for her, maybe. But even her, she's freaked out.
I don't even think that, sadly.
Yeah. You have them getting blown up while Audrey gets caught in the crossfire, and we don't know her status.
Nope. We don't know Pete and Andrew's
we don't really know
status either.
anybody's.
We don't know anyone's. Like, we really don't know anything. And then, besides, like, Truman looks fine.
Truman,
like, that's all I know.
But you got to think, Truman and Andy sat outside that whole time. Cooper shows back up with Annie. Annie's recovering. They said she's going to make a full recovery. That's what they said. And Truman is just like, my buddy's back. And then all of a sudden, Coop is like, where's Annie? Or how's Annie? How's Annie? And is not well. And then you're just like, oh my God, what are the implications here? Like, what's going to happen now? Yeah. And I mean, it obviously is that Coop is stuck wherever he was, and this is a Bob replacement or a doppelganger replacement or a little bit of both. And that's even scarier. The show ends and you're just like, my boy, Dale Cooper, is just in the lodge or in the red room, wherever he is. And we don't know. The waiting room. We don't know. We don't know where he is, and he's just gone, but not forgotten.
And like, I think you can make inferences about why that is. Like, they say you can't make it through the Black Lodge with imperfect courage. So does that mean that he went in with imperfect courage?
Do you want to know the exact quote? Because I have it up.
About how you survived the Black Lodge or get through the Black Lodge?
It's from Hawk. Yeah.
Okay, yes.
So he says, Cooper, you may be fearless in this world, but there are worlds beyond life and death. The name of the episode. Worlds beyond scientific reality. Cooper says, tell me more. Hawk says, my people believe that the White Lodge is a place where the spirits that rule man and nature reside. There is also legend of a place called the Black Lodge, the shadow self of the White Lodge. Legend says that every spirit must pass through there on the way to perfection. There you will meet your own shadow self. My people call it the dweller on the threshold. Dale Cooper says dweller on the threshold. Hawk says, but it is said that if you confront the Black Lodge with imperfect courage, it will utterly annihilate your soul.
I think I've kind of forgotten entirely about the, like, dweller, shadow, self, doppelganger thing, because when that came up, I was like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, I don't remember this ever being a thing, so now I'm confused about why there's, like, a second Laura here and a second Dale made sense, because a Bob Dale, like, that makes sense because he ends up being a Bob Dale. But, like, yeah, I was like, why are they two of Laura, especially not a good Laura, when that's not who Laura was. So I guess reading the quote puts that in perspective. And I know there's been a lot throughout the show with duality and whatnot, but not necessarily facing your doppelganger, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, it's a version of you. I don't know if it's like the evil version of him or it's like the bad qualities of him that are there. And you wonder, are the versions of Laura and Leland, are they real or are they part of his Red Room / Black Logic, whatever Cooper's
I was going to
seeing?
ask that later too, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can get into that later if you want to wait and we want to go through our normal stuff. Okay, there's a lot of fun theories. I mean, we could talk forever. The people also did for 25 years talk about this stuff to a nauseating and annoying degree, probably.
Probably. I mean, what else was there to talk about? They didn't have more, and if it's your favorite show, you're going to talk about it.
Definitely.
We didn't let me finish my general thoughts, and that was Sarah and Ronette are back. Oh my gosh. Because I asked, like, in one of the recent episodes, like, where the fuck is Sarah? We haven't seen her in so long. So, hey girl, hey. What's up, queen? How you been?
I was happy to see her. I love when she shows up. There's like a certain unsettlingness to her, and also the line she gives is really good. It was
real unsettling, yeah.
Cool. Well, what else do you think is going to matter later?
Okay, so not the Sarah part necessarily. Maybe. Okay, so the 3 moments I think will matter later is, I think we could be missing some characters entering the return because the bank blew up with Audrey, Pete, and Andrew inside, and we get literally no update as to if any of them survive. And seeing as Audrey is my favorite character outside Dale, that is upsetting to me. And also Pete is a cuddly bean. So that is fucked up and shocking, and I don't know what to do with that.
Yeah, and John Justice Wheeler went to Brazil.
Is he gonna show that guy? Like, where's that guy? Where is the guy she lost her virginity to?
Yeah.
Roll up, John. Also, obviously, then, like, the Black Lodge stuff. So Dale and Wyndham made it to the Black Lodge, or at least the waiting room for the lodge, as
commonly
it's
referred to
in.
as the Red Room.
I know, but in this episode, they call it the waiting room, so sorry, that's the language I used of the episode. And Wyndham clearly was not successful in his quest for power. Guess he faced the lodge with imperfect courage as well. So, which, like, doesn't surprise me, but I also think is really interesting that he had such, like, a anticlimactic ending for this character who we've had so much set up.
I kind of like it because...
I'm not saying I like it or dislike it. I'm saying I just was like, whoa.
Can I say, just to jump on it, I love that he's like, yeah, if you give me your soul, I'll let you have her back. And then Bob is like, you can't do that.
Bob's like,
that's
not
you're
how
not
this
powerful.
works.
Like, and then it's fun to just see Bob annihilate him. Like, flames shoot out of his head. And it's like all this buildup. And it's a common trope among, like, in Eldritch and Cosmic Horror for this character to basically be face to face with grander power than he thought he could be and just gets utterly annihilated by it, which is exactly what happened to Wyndham. He thought he could tame that.
That's what I was going to say. It's like you're not infinitely powerful. You can't always play God, man.
It's like the ending of Indiana Jones 4, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, because I've seen that.
I thought you have.
I have seen it.
She gets the knowledge from the aliens and her head explodes.
Spoilers.
Oh my god, everyone's seen Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Everyone who wants to, I'm sure, has.
But anyway, that is a Lovecraftian trope, I would even say.
Well, my last thing was, we think Dale makes it out, but it turns out Dale is Bob. Dale Bob.
And what was your reaction to all of that?
I don't think it's, like, surprising per se, but I think the actual scene just feels shocking watching it because he just seems like he's talking like he's had a brain injury, and then he goes into the bathroom and it already feels off the way he's, repeated that he needed to brush his teeth, and then he does what seems to be a sign of pure evil to David Lynch, which is squirt toothpaste all over the sink, and then bashes his head in, and we see the reflection of Bob. So I just think that because it's been so horrifying earlier in the season, like seeing Leland see his reflection as Bob, or we see the reflection as Bob, and that was a huge reveal earlier in the show. I think having that happen again with our favorite character and the character we thought was most likely to save the day is tough. Real hard. And also, like, seeing a man just, like, bash his face in and then be bleeding and smiling is horror movie shit.
Very much so. Especially when it rolls to credits right after.
Yeah, that was insane. And you can't help but think, what are the people in the other room going to think? Like, is Truman going to put it together? Or is he just going to be like, oh, my poor friend's brain is fried. And he needs help.
Guess you have to wait 25 years to find out.
I know. Guess so.
Okay, are those your 3 moments?
Yeah.
All right, let's do some vibe checks.
I didn't know what the fuck to do vibe checks this episode, bro. You go first,
all right,
then.
Sarah Palmer, 1 out of 10. That was
What
some
the hell?
spooky shit.
That's
I didn't
not
like
her
that.
fault.
It scared me. You don't know. You don't know what's going on with her.
Something is
She
telling
disappeared
her
and
that.
now she comes back. Yeah, well, she spooked me out. So 1 out of 10 for Sarah.
That's crazy. Okay.
I thinking the log lady? No, not the log lady.
I have Log Lady 10 out of 10.
Mibbler, 10 out of 10. Sorry, go ahead. Log lady.
Yeah, I
had to remember.
I had Log Lady 10 out of 10 because she's the Log Lady. She deserved to show up in this episode. Thank you, David, for that change. And also, I went from being like, okay, she's kind of serving contests sometimes to now I'm like, okay, Queen, tell him the information. You know better than anybody somehow. And she rocks.
I was giving Mibbler the 10 out of 10. He was the old bank guy.
I was going to say,
that was really slow. And I was laughing even more because it's like, wait, there can't be much of this episode left. And David Lynch takes 10 minutes to have an old man walk around. And it just wastes your time even more. And you're like, what is going on? I think it's so funny. So Mibbler gets a 10 out of 10 for that choice.
No, he gets a 0 out of 10 for being an old man that needs to retire.
I said sign him up for the Senate. When Hanna said that, like, old people shouldn't have jobs, I said, get this guy in the Senate literally. Now.
Okay, also, I'm not ageist, but he was torturous on my TV, okay? I'm happy for him if he's happy working, okay? As long as he's doing his job correctly. My question is, why is Lynch so obsessed with old men walking really, really slow?
I just think it's funny. I think it's like, it adds this weird, uncanny
so
tension.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah. Especially when you're like, how is everything going to get wrapped up?
And then
you just sit there for 5 minutes with Mibbler walking around.
Well, I think it emotionally does the right thing because it makes you unsettled and why am I sitting through this when I have to figure out what happened to Dale Cooper?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lastly, Andy, 10 out of 10 for asking Truman if he needs coffee. You want pie?
I have that moment coming up later.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I gave Mike a 4.5 out of 10.
Mike, not Mike Gerard.
The Mike that we see in this episode.
Lowercase Mike. Okay, Mike.
Student Mike. Underage, probably Mike.
Yeah, 18.
Did they
I don't know.
establish that he's 18?
Just assume they're all 18.
When I was in high school, I never once turned 18. I was 17 for all of high school.
Yikes.
So, yeah. So, the first time he appeared in the show, you can go back to the pilot. And I was like, I hate this man. Negative 1,000 out of 10. I hate this motherfucker. He's terrible and abusive. And obviously, all of that remains true that he was, abusing women. But I have a lot of sympathy for him in this episode specifically. Because it kind of felt like he was only using Nadine for sex. But then you can kind of tell here that he did develop feelings for her. He says he loves her, and I believe that. And because I don't think he would have said it the way he said it in the context that he said it if he didn't have genuine feelings. Because otherwise he would have been like, yeah, okay, whatever. Go back to your husband. I don't care. And you can argue that he's taking advantage of a sick woman, but he's also a child or barely an adult. So I think there's the argument to be made that he's being taken advantage of. And yeah, it's just all around really sad.
Very much so. I agree. All right. So is that it for your vibes?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't have a suspect of the week, but I will ask, do we have any feelings on the who, where, what, when, and why of Bob? You don't have to. I'm just asking if you got any other thoughts or predictions.
I don't know. I wasn't prepared to answer the question.
Oh, my bad. Okay, that's fine. We can move on then.
Okay.
Just throwing it out there if you had anything. Okay.
I'm really tired because I started a new job and training is miserably boring. So I can't be asked questions I did not prepare for, or I'll start crying, I think.
Okay, that's fine. I can't say anything because I know too much. So once we get to the return, I think there's more room for debate because I will know where we will and won't get more information.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, viewers out there can tell us what they think the who, what, where, when, and why of Bob. Mom, call in. Okay. So who are you trusting with your coffee this week?
I struggle with this, but I put Truman.
I did too.
Oh,
because he sat out there. He sat for his boy for
10 hours. Yep. He doesn't abandon Dale there, like Dale asked him to do. He was like, "No, I'm following you, and I'm watching my boy, and I'm making sure you come out." He watches him disappear
behind, but he doesn't go in with them. Yeah. He knows he's got to wait for him to come back. It's kind of smart.
And he's clearly been sitting there staring. And even when Andy comes to ask for his order, Truman is still like,
I will say I'm going to trust Andy with my coffee as well for that. But Truman, wholehearted, that's your boy. Yeah. And after everything they've been through together.
I just hope he and their relationship is strong enough that he senses problems in the immediate aftermath of this episode that we won't know.
Okay. So who is not invited to coffee?
The man from the other place. I do not like that guy.
Okay.
I find that guy... I couldn't say Bob. Like, I didn't want to go with an obvious answer, or like Wyndham Earl, like, who's barely in this, but like, whatever. I don't want to come up with an obvious answer, and so I went with the man from the other place because he unsettles the absolute fuck out of me, and I'm so sick of the fucking riddles, my man. Just shut the fuck up.
While we're on that, I know you're not prepared for this. What did you think about the elderly waiter being in the room?
I had... a note about that later.
Okay, cool.
And that note is just seemingly confirmed, not fully human or not human.
I also think this is the first time we've seen the giant there as well. So that was kind of interesting to see all three of them near each other.
Yeah.
And then also the singer.
And the giant, now that we're like mentioning the quote from Hulk earlier, the giant saying one and the same makes a lot more sense to me because it's like pieces of the same person in some regard. And I didn't know what that meant, so I put what that mean. But now I think I know what that means.
Okay, when we get there, we'll talk. Okay, I am not trusting that no doppelgangers are invited to my coffee date. That's what I'm going to say. Doppelgangers, you're not allowed. I don't know what you are exactly.
Screaming.
I don't want you there.
Screaming Laura Palmer not invited?
No. Laura Palmer invited. Screaming Laura Palmer, no. Cheryl Lee invited.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
All right. Best performance of the episode?
Well, speaking of Cheryl Lee, I said that everyone in the Black Lodge is killing it, including Cheryl Lee.
Shout out.
And I said Kyle as Dale Bob was awesome.
Ray Wise, amazing for the one scene he's in.
Oh my God.
That.
Yeah, I was glad to see him show back up.
I also just had Kyle MacLachlan as best performance. I think a lot of his silent performances, I love when he gets into the red room and he can't talk. There's this like weird slow movement he has. Like it's so otherworldly that you start to realize he is under this like dream logic and he can't move or communicate like he normally does. And I think he does such a killer job of that. So shout out Kyle MacLachlan for all of it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our cozy versus nightmare. We're finally in the Black Lodge or wherever, the cherry pie versus Black Lodge moments.
Yeah, coziest versus unsettling, and boy oh boy, do I have a lot for that category.
There's not a lot to be happy about in this episode.
No, I had something in my notes where I labeled as a somewhere in between, and I had to move it to coziest because it is the coziest thing that happened.
Go ahead.
And that is Andy getting Truman's order. I thought it was kind of more of a somewhere in between to me because Andy is being kind of annoying about it. He asks too many questions and Truman is like very clearly trying to focus and like not engage more than he needs to with it. He's like giving very short answers. And also the context of that is that Truman is sitting there waiting to find out if his like bestest buddy is dead or comes back at all. And I think that there's just like an unsettling nature to the fact that that conversation is happening. So to me, it felt like a somewhere in between, but it's the coziest part, Andy being a good boy. So there we go.
Mine, I had Mibbler, Mr. Mibbler again.
That is a somewhere in between for me, dog.
It's kind of similar to the Andy thing though, because the Andy thing goes on for so long.
That's why it was so
and Truman just, yeah.
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 Yeah,
like,
it was a lot.
I love it. So Mibbler, I don't know. I couldn't think of anything cozy other than this old man.
Nope.
And maybe Audrey being like, I'm doing, what's it called?
She's doing her protest.
Civil disobedience. And then they just open the door anyway.
So, yeah, I did kind of think that was funny.
Love it. All right, my Black Lodge moment is...
No, somewhere in between?
No,
because I have
absolutely not. All right, go ahead. What do you got?
Mike saying I love you, and then Nadine being knocked out of her shit, and then yelling, where are my drape runners?
I think that's a Black Lodge moment for me.
I know, but there's something really sweet about it as well, because the Mike part.
Yeah.
He was like, I love you, and she was like, where are my drape runners? And also, like, that's in some way her brain healing, because she isn't delusional about being in high school
healing
anymore.
into maybe a worse person.
That's why it's in between, because it's maybe bad that she is healed, which is normally good.
I can fix her, as they always say. I
Go
love that
ahead,
meme.
babe.
I can fix her. That's what Mike's saying right now. Okay, so Black Lodge.
Okay, the entire red room / Black Lodge / waiting room, whatever we're calling it.
Mm-hmm.
All of it. So like half the episode.
That's also what I wrote down. I said the red room / Black Lodge, and then doppelganger Laura.
But I have 2 additional moments, since this whole episode was sinister. Sarah coming into the diner to speak to Briggs and saying, I'm in the Black Lodge with Dale Cooper was real scary. And it's even scarier because we don't actually know who it's from and why. I think we could make maybe inferences on that, but there's no confirmation as to who's saying that.
It also makes you wonder, what's Briggs going to do now?
Where does that leave them? Exactly. And we don't see it.
We need to write down, and maybe we'll figure it out after this, like a bunch of loose threads going into the return so we can go through all those. Like things that were like, things that are implied at the end of this episode, but we don't get answers to. So we can see if there's somewhere. Because I think there are things that happen in the return that were actually addressed in these, but I had like forgotten. And upon second watch, I'm starting to see things where I was like, I need to pay attention to these things better. So that's one we should write down though, is what does this mean for Briggs?
Yeah.
So
my other moment obviously is ramming the head in the mirror.
Yikes.
Dale's unfortunate ending to the show thus far.
Yeah. I think we felt very similar. I was thinking a specific Black Lodge moment is when Caroline and Annie are being switched back and forth is really cool. And it's kind of just like, Cooper, you've endangered another woman with your love for them. And like, what are you supposed to do? Like, he has this ability to put women in danger.
Man's just like a superhero inherently. When you're that important and you love someone, there's a risk of putting them in danger. And it's like, does that mean you shouldn't love and care about people? Like, what does that mean? That you don't deserve that to save other people? But ultimately, I think it's also their choice to...
I think it also plays on... So Cooper is very much created via losing Caroline. And I think it kind of... We talked about people being compromised earlier, and like where Cooper's compromised and how he seems like he's being enlightened to be a better person throughout, or more well-rounded. I think his biggest compromised position still is because of what happened to Caroline, he sees every other woman in danger as her. And feels the need, like in his job. And that like probably makes him do too much in the town at some points. Like we've talked about throughout as an FBI agent, how when trying to save Laura, he tried to like do too much to protect the town. No. Well, Audrey, yes. But I meant with
you
Laura.
Said
like,
save Laura, and there was no saving
my bad.
Laura.
Solve the case, save Audrey. Like, remember before when Albert was like, I need the body for longer, and Cooper wouldn't do it. Everything kind of goes back to Caroline in that way, and that's like he's got this like soft spot that makes it harder for him to do his job, which like he lost Caroline because he loved her. He put Annie in danger because he loved her. Audrey, he was able to save, but there is a degree there in which that happens as well. So I think it's an interesting character flaw for him.
But I don't think it's necessarily women either. I don't see it as like explicit to his relationships with women. He does the same thing for
that's true.
Truman.
But do you think that that's like a flaw for him? Is it all is kind of like starts with Caroline?
I'm sure it starts with Caroline and like the people he cares about, period.
Yeah. But it's
or
almost
if
like
he had that before her, we don't
that's
know.
True.
But I'm sure that would heighten that feeling. Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
But I don't think it's exclusive to his relationship with women. From
he,
what
like,
I
must,
have seen so far in the show, I think he has the compulsion to save. Yeah.
He's like the guy in Saw 4.
Don't remember who that guy is.
I knew you were going to say that.
I haven't seen that movie since I was 18.
But it's almost like he has the compulsion to save to the point in which it's detrimental to him sometimes. And
Yes,
that's
and to other people,
and that could be
potentially.
his imperfect courage, possibly. It's his compulsion to save.
Yeah.
It's a fun thing to think about. I think there'll be more later. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
Way down the line.
I would assume so.
Yeah. Okay. So those are mine. Dying to discuss. I just wrote.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's
I have
that.
some
I think
things.
you should have a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say anything. So.
Okay, so I was really excited that Truman actually sees the opening to the lodges.
Great
because
point.
he has previously not necessarily denied, well, at times denied, or at least doubted the existence of the supernatural occurrences at times. So I was really excited that he has full faith in Cooper and what he's been saying.
That's a really good point.
And so that, and like clearly he waits there. Like he buys into it. He knows that he is somewhere bad and he is waiting for his buddy. So I thought that was a nice character arc moment for him. I also wrote, I really like the significance in like the log lady's experience in the past and how that relates to what's going on now. Because we still don't have that many details of like what happened with her husband. We know there was a fire and it smelled like this oil, and it helps us realize her husband saying the oil is an opening to a gateway. Like, we know all those things now, and again, the oil bit was a reveal in this episode, but I like that we have just been getting this, like, sprinkling of her backstory throughout, and I think it makes her more interesting, more compelling, and I like her more as more gets revealed.
I think also not giving us the full story is good because it allows people to theorize. Because I said before, I was like, there's been theories that her husband is in the log.
Yes.
And then we see Pete seeing Josie in the walls of the Great Northern.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, I would believe her husband's in the log.
Yeah, it
People are
kinda
clearly
sets that
in
up.
wood here, man.
And I keep saying the words ghostwood,
Yeah.
as they say in this episode. So.
Yeah.
And also the fact that the entrance to the Red Room is in the woods of Twin Peaks. So, yeah.
Which is also just crazy.
Yeah.
And then obviously, I just, like we mentioned, there's a lot of processing to be done about what happens in the lodge. I kind of wrote down a series of events. So when he first gets there, beyond being told, like, it's the waiting room and the coffee thing, the first, like, significant thing that happens is he sees Laura, who says, "I'll see you again in 25 years. Meanwhile," and then she does the, like, little hand
Famous
symbol.
hand gesture.
What the fuck does that hand gesture mean? So many questions for me. And like, how would she know what would happen in 25 years?
When we'll talk about this before the return,
But also I know she's also had like this foresight before. Yeah. So
and when they got, so a couple things I'm thinking about that aren't spoilers. It's awesome because Mark Frost and David Lynch got together and they're like, hey, you know what? 25 years is coming up before making the return. So that's kind of cool that they had that.
Yeah.
I think, and just my theory based on no other further information, we see Cooper as an old man talk to Laura in the Red Room.
Yeah,
in the first couple episodes. My original theory, if you were to just look at the show, is that was the 25 years later. So basically, in that dream, he was talking to Laura in the Red Room 25 years into the future, which is like a whole mind fuck with time.
But then seeing her there also makes me question, like, why is she in the Red Room? Or again, as the man from the other place called it, the waiting room of the lodges. Is she made it to the White Lodge or Black Lodge? I'm guessing White Lodge. And is able to move into this space? But also, like, is she really even there? Or just like a figment of what Cooper is seeing?
I got no answer for it.
And I have that question for all of these people.
Again, I can't theorize too much because I will give things away. So
You just kind of let me talk or ask questions that get me talking more. But yeah. And then geriatric old fuck shows up, which confirms...
The waiter, the bellhop, whatever we want to call him.
Hey, I've been pretty consistent with my name calling of him, so I'm sure everyone listening to every episode knows what I'm referring to. The giant shows up, and all I wrote is the giant, and then in quotes, one and the same, which, again, I think thinking about the doppelganger piece of things and how Hawk describes what the Black Lodge does to you could be what the giant is referring to there.
Okay.
And then Man from Another Place says, "Fire walk with me," and then there's a little fire explosion, and then we see Maddie, who says, "Watch out for my cousin." So that is referring to, I'm guessing, then Laura's evil doppelganger.
With the white eyes.
With the white eyes, who is doing all that screaming. And then,
it's so scary. It's so good. And then he's just running back and forth down each hallway. I love it.
And then Dale walks into a room where him and Caroline were stabbed, but it's actually Annie. And then, actually, I don't know if there's anything there at all, because they both kind of, like, disappear. It was trippy as fuck.
It's all dream logic,
But
right?
again, yeah, it's like combining these two people that he had romantic feelings and experiences with, because obviously they are very paralleled experiences where, like we said, he accidentally put these two women in harm's way. And because all of this is, like, how real is this place / in your head, and how much is this experience just happening in your head, I guess, it would make sense that this thing that has caused him significant anguish or contributes to who he is as a person now would be there and interchangeable. And then Annie says, "I saw the face of the man who killed me. It was my husband," which again is Caroline. Very much this swapping. I noticed it's very interesting because most of the time we see Annie, it's actually Caroline, which is also like, again, I think they're trying to make it very, very clear that his experience with Annie is so founded on what his experience with Caroline was. Yes. And then we have the Wyndham thing that we already talked about. "If you give me your soul, I'll let Annie live." And then he says, "I will." But then he gets stabbed, but then it's undone. And then Wyndham and Bob are together, and Bob's like, "No, you motherfucker. That's not how this works." Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, all the Wyndham stuff we already talked about.
You love to see a bigger bad guy take out the little bad guy. Yeah. Bigger fish.
Yeah. And, like, it's interesting that Dale is, like, verbally saying he's willing to do what it takes to save her, but it doesn't mean that he actually has the courage or willpower or means or what not to do so.
It's also he's doing it with Wyndham Earl versus the actual lodge, so yes. who even knows?
Exactly.
And we kind of said it before, and I'll let you get back. The whole lodge, waiting room, red room is such a good, crazy dream space that you kind of understand how it works and that time doesn't work how it's supposed to, but you still feel so small and ant-like in there and so out of control as a viewer that it keeps you so in the dark that I actually think, hot take, this is one of the best portrayals of like a cosmic horror that I've ever seen, in terms of like my brain can't actually comprehend the way in which this space works, and I haven't seen it be shown this well in film before. This is like picture perfect in terms of showing a space like this and allowing it to make sense and also be incomprehensible at the same time. Amazing. Just a thought I have. That's me. David Lynch, the David Lynch glazer over here.
Valid. Valid glazing.
Anyway, also I was thinking about the waiting room. That could have just been in reference to the room they drank coffee in.
The small space with the coffee.
And then once he left and went back to the space multiple times, that was a different area.
Interesting.
So, just a thought I had. Because remember, he has the coffee and he learns about how time works. Because immediately he's like, pours the coffee and then it gets solid. And then he changes it and then it pours out. Yeah. It's so cool. He gets his little tutorial on how this space works or doesn't work.
Yeah.
Sorry. So continue.
Well, Bob says we'll take Wyndham's soul, and then I guess he does that, and then that's when Evil Dale appears. So, one, I guess Wyndham didn't have his perfect courage, or he wasn't able to face his evil self, or whatever the fuck. So, bye-bye, Wyndham.
If he was even tested the same way. Who knows?
That's the thing is, I doubt he was, because he was, I think he was
entered
ever
with ill
make
intentions.
It through. Yeah, he was never going to be able to harness the power of.
And I don't think Bob wants anything good for anybody. So immediately he was like, you're easy pickings.
Yeah.
And then it kind of seemed like Bob almost commanded the doppelganger that all of a sudden showed up.
Well, that's how I see it.
Yeah.
I see that as like a piece of, maybe not a piece of Bob.
No,
but
I'm curious. Tell me,
maybe
I don't
a piece
know.
of Bob, because he obviously leaves as Evil Dale.
And it's weird because Bob kind of tells Cooper, yeah, you can leave now, I'm taking this guy. But it's like a lie, because then all of a sudden he sicks the doppelganger on him. And that's at least how I saw it while watching it this time around. Is that what you saw?
That is what I saw,
Okay, cool. And this is not spoilers or anything. This is just me theorizing. Like, there's no real answer for this. So.
But yeah, he's kind of like trying to get away from Evil Dale, and that's when he sees Leland, who says, "I did not kill anybody." Which is also really fucked up. And there's the whole discussion that we've had earlier in the show of like how much control did Leland have, how much of it was Leland versus Bob, but also like, again, if this is like the most sinister piece of Leland, of course he'd be playing that card.
If that's what it is.
Yeah.
I really liked him. His hair was normal again.
Yeah.
And just the way he talks and he's in his like pitiful state.
Yeah.
He's so unsettling and scary. And then Cooper's just like, get away from me.
He
Get away from me, psycho.
And then he laughs. Yeah. Really unsettling. Evil Dale and Leland laugh together.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Which is why I kind of... Whatever this Leland is not
There's
good.
There's so much that happens, and it's hard to even remember because I just like.
That's why I wrote it down, bro.
Because I just think that they just keep running back hallway. Rooms keep changing back and forth down that same hallway, and it scares me. And it feels like a scary dream, which it's supposed to be. It's just amazing. So.
Well, and then it ends with Dale chasing Dale, and Bob kind of being close up in the camera, being scary, which is, I think, him laughing because he's winning, and Dale stop, whether that's like explicitly a Bob controlled Dale that's chasing him, or it's representative of like the, like we said, evil doppelganger, basically like your evil part of yourself, or whatever the fuck that might be.
The shadow
chasing him.
Dweller on the threshold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Chasing him, but I think that's not a great sign when those two things are happening concurrently. So I guess it shouldn't have been quite as shocking that it was a Bob Dale that made it out.
I agree with you. Okay, that was a lot.
Yeah.
And this, I'm glad you wrote it down and try to go through it. I think you pretty much nailed it. What does any,
as much as
what,
I can.
What does any of that mean, though?
Yeah, I think I can tell like what it means in like micro levels, but maybe not all put together.
It's like a big puzzle piece, but you don't have all the pieces.
And is that because I'm dumb or because I don't have the pieces?
I think it's because you don't have the pieces, or it's because it's like a shifting puzzle where the picture's constantly changing, and you can make certain pieces fit together in certain ways, and then you have to take those apart and put them together in another way.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, the best way to view this show is it's one big puzzle, but you finish it, and there's one space left with about 5 other pieces, and none of them fit.
Yeah.
And it can be rearranged into a full other puzzle, but no matter what you do, you can't make it all fit. So.
Yep.
That's my analogy. Okay. That was actually how that show was kind of sold to me at one point. I read about it, and I was like, I think I can figure it out. But I would say, we'll get there. Okay, so now we got some notes for Diane, which is questions we're carrying forward from you into Fire Walk with Me.
Well, which is interesting because that happens before.
Yes,
so
it does.
Some of this is not going to happen.
Some people would argue it is both a prequel and a sequel, but we'll get there once we watch it.
I've understood it to be before, so that's an interesting, I've never thought about it as being
not a spoiler. I'm just saying that there's a discussion about it is a spiritual sequel.
Well, but
we'll get there.
I guess I mean in forms of time. So like when I ask what happened to this character, I'm not going to have an answer.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean.
Okay.
Like some of the more like theory-based things could come to fruition by watching it, but I mean like
you're not going to know
where the fuck
what happened
is
to
Leo?
Audrey or where Leo is. Yeah.
Which
definitely.
is my first question. What happened to
Got
Leo?
a bunch of spiders hanging over him.
And where the hell is James? He's just been gone.
I was about to say that. Yeah, James is in Mexico.
They were like, fuck this dude. Get out of here. We're like, no one likes you, so we're just going to ditch you,
I like
bro.
you, James.
Brother, get out of here. How did the log lady and her husband become involved in all this? Like, what did he potentially know? What was significant about them as people that they somehow ended up in all of this without seemingly doing research into all of it, like Briggs did, for example.
Is this an episode where we're just going to have to carry every question over?
Probably.
Okay.
What's going on in the Hayward house right now after that fight? And what is true about the family lore? What's this mean for Nadine and Ed and Norma? And Mike, I guess.
Yeah.
In the bank, why is Lynch so obsessed with old men walking really slow? Are Audrey, Pete, and Andrew dead? And I will be so sad if 2 of the 3 of them are dead. But I know that Jack Nance had passed before the return. So that
is sad.
kind of impacting how I might view what happened to him.
Yeah, Jack Nance actually died before I was... No, we were 1 years old, not even.
Damn.
He died in 96.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was like 5 months probably.
Yeah.
And when did he die?
December.
Yeah, so 5 months.
Yeah.
5 months old. R.I.P. brother. Sarah tells Major Briggs, I'm in the Black Lodge with Dale Cooper. I'm waiting for you. Who was this message from and why to Briggs?
I want to hold on to that really bad because I wish I had held on to this when I watched The Return for the first time.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Great.
I was like, that kind of like was a really lit moment for me to be like, oh.
Yeah. Some of these I mentioned earlier when talking about the events that occurred. What does Laura's arm gesture mean? Why is Laura in this red room space? Like, did she make it to the
I want you to carry that
Lodge?
one forward too. Is that okay?
Yes. And
I can't say anything.
Is she able to move between them? Also, how was she really there? All that shit.
Yep.
Okay. The giant said one and the same. What did that mean? Like we talked about, how did Annie survive all this, and did she really? Because, I mean, Truman says she's going to be just fine, but that doesn't necessarily mean she's going to be just fine. Does Lynch feel that toothpaste waste is the ultimate sign of evil?
It very well might be.
What does this mean for Coop now? Is he just stuck in the Black Lodge or Red
Save
Room
that one.
forever
Bring
now?
that one. Definitely bring that one.
And forever in quotes. Because, yeah. And then, obviously, this is like a post what we saw, but how did Truman react after the mirror head smashing? Like, and does he suspect?
Bring that
Will
one
we
forward
get
too. Why
an
not?
Explanation for that.
I like bringing all these forward. There's a lot. You were left with a lot of fun threads after an episode before that wrapped things up.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's go with what we're carrying forward into Fire Walk with Me and The Return.
This is really funny. Okay, is Wyndham gonna get in the Black Lodge? So
He did get in the Black Lodge. Well,
we have
maybe.
an answer.
Yeah, he got his
He
soul
got
annihilated.
to the Red Room. Briggs' wife said he's left and disappeared before. Where was he then?
And where's he going next? Where they're waiting for him.
Yep. Where did Bob go after leaving Leland?
I mean, we kind of saw where he is now.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he wasn't somewhere intermittently before he's back where he is.
Okay.
But if we think we can remove that,
I think you can remove that
then
one.
I'll let that go. Because I do think we know where he is right now. We know where he is now.
Yes.
Like, was he just...
Well, we saw him come out. We saw him
question
come
is-
out of this area.
Yeah,
remember?
so
like,
we
was
know
he
he
in the
was
Red
there
Room?
for at least a bit, and
Yeah.
not that much time has passed, so I mean, it makes sense that he wouldn't have inhabited someone new, because he seems to like to stick around for a long fucking time. So, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Okay. How long have Laura and her mother had dreams? I'm really hoping that Fire Walk with Me could have some answers there, but we'll see. And then Al's question mark.
No answer on the owls.
Nope. No answers.
I think
on
you
the
have to just
owls.
make predictions on owls at some point or guesses.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of debate over the owls. I think I know what they mean, but yeah, we'll see. Okay. Well, let's rate this thing then.
Okay. Well, it's obviously a damn fine cup
It's a
of
damn
coffee
fine cup
with
of
like a
coffee.
slice of really good fucking pie.
It's an amazing episode, an amazing run of a television show, like pretty unbelievable. How do we rate all of season 1 and season 2 together?
Season 1 is 100% a damn fine cup of coffee. Season 2 has an unfortunate mix of lukewarm lattes in there, but I still think it would like raise to like a really great cup of coffee.
As a whole, I think it's a damn fine cup of coffee, and
Yeah.
I think I feel justified in saying it's maybe my favorite show of all time.
I think that's fair.
One more question for you at this point. Do you feel that my comparison to Dark is apt?
Yes.
Very much so?
Yes.
Okay. So everyone out there should watch the show Dark, or if you
Yes.
like the show Dark, you should be watching Twin Peaks.
I think that's a very fair thing to say. I think, obviously, in ways they're very different. Like, the style of this show being so soapy at points that's not what Dark is doing tonally. So, you know, there are inherent differences, and also Dark is, I think, in some ways more convoluted. With just, like, physically understanding what is happening and who's who. maybe interpretation-wise, this is still more confusing. I don't really know.
I also said I feel that The Leftovers is a kind of successor in some ways from... You didn't watch Leftovers.
I didn't watch the whole thing.
In some ways. I was going to ask one more. Do you feel that there have been any other comparable shows or anything that was like very clearly a successor? Because I was speaking with my mom the other day, and I was watching and thinking about this, and I was like, this really might have been like the first like prestige TV show before HBO comes along with The Sopranos, which might have been, usually gets the kind of the credit for that.
I don't know what came before this, so I literally could not tell you if it's the first.
I was talking to my mom and we were thinking that, and I was like, it's funny because there are episodes of The Sopranos that I think are very influenced by Twin Peaks, which is interesting. There's some dream episodes and some surrealist moments, and I just think as a whole, this really feels like it kind of laid the groundwork for a show like that, and then eventually, Breaking Bad gets brought up a lot to happen. So it's kind of interesting to think about. No, but in terms of the prestige storytelling and the style of television, yes, because at the time so much was sitcom.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think in terms of like what the show is actually doing and covering, Dark is definitely my closest example.
Okay, I
love Dark.
Dark is great.
So
it's in German,
much. So. If it were more popular, I'd be like, let's cover that. But like, no one would watch that.
We could.
No one would watch that. And also, we've seen the whole thing, and I have a very good understanding of that show.
True, so. We could get somebody who hasn't seen it.
What a mindfuck that would be.
Yep.
We'd break someone's brain.
Well, this has been a fantastic journey through these first 2 seasons. So next up is Fire Walk with Me, one of the most upsetting movies I've ever seen, and I'm pumped because I love it. So I'll just tell you guys right away, I love that movie. So I'm so excited to watch it again.
I think you've said that on the show before. No one should be surprised.
I know. I'm just saying it's fun, and I'm really excited for you to see it with all of this context and everything. So it's exciting. We're gonna watch it here shortly. So anything else we need to say?
I don't think so.
Well, congratulations again, and also what the heck. All right.
What the heck is right?
Well, everyone, this has been Welcome to Twin Peaks, and we will see you in Fire Walk with Me with a fresh cup of coffee.
Thank you for listening to Welcome to Twin Peaks, a Twin Peaks rewatch podcast from Horror Hour with the Hannas. If you liked the episode, please make sure to give us a 5-star review on your favorite podcasting app. If you'd like to call into the show, call us at 215-821-9584. You can find us on the socials at Welcome to Twin Peaks Podcast on Instagram, or at our original account at Horror Hour Hannas on TikTok. Come back soon for more coop, coffee, and cream corn.